Let me pull up this story from the Daily Beast. This is a good example. Joe Rogan says it's a fact that January 6th was a false flag, cites Ray Epps. Now, that's a misleading headline if I've ever seen one, but of course, that's the Daily Beast. If you are someone who only consumes garbage nonsense like the Daily Beast, you might think Joe Rogan's this crazy Alex Jones guy. However, fortunately for Joe Rogan, he's like one of the most famous people on the planet, and many of his fans know who he really is, so these smears, they don't go very far. But let me read this for you. They say, wildly popular podcaster Joe Rogan once again pushed the baseless conspiracy theory. I love that the January 6th Capitol insurrection was a false flag orchestrated by the federal government, adding that pro-Trump rioter Ray Epps clearly instigated the attack. Now, hold on there a minute. Ray Epps is on camera the night before and the day of telling people to go to the Capitol and go in the building. He's then seen whispering into someone's ear, and he's on the front line as the people breach the Capitol grounds. Curious. They didn't go after him. The feds didn't go after him. He was protected by the media, defended by the media, and even now they're trying to obfuscate what he did. It's fascinating, isn't it? Earlier this month, Epps sued Fox News for defaming him. This we know. And in that lawsuit, we're hearing that Epps may actually be facing criminal charges. They go on to mention that Rogan's got a contract with Spotify, blah, blah, blah. Rogan said the intelligence community had a vested interest in this going sideways, adding that if somebody wanted to disparage a political party or to maybe have some sort of justification for getting some influential person like Trump offline, that would be the way they would do it. And Joe Rogan is completely correct. He was talking to Jim Gaffigan, who did not know anything about this. I got to tell you, when I listen to Joe Rogan talk to Jim Gaffigan, I'm a political guy. Like, I sit here, I read all this news. I am just like shaking, wanting to talk to these guys.
You should get Gaffigan on the show
and be like, ask me any question and I will answer it. And I will show you all the sources. I will pull them up one at a time. And you can, by all means, not believe The Guardian or NPR, the New York Times. Just, you got to have some standard. Do you believe these outlets or not? Do you believe Politico or not? Okay, well, that's what we're basing this off of. But Jim doesn't know anything. Yeah. He doesn't know anything about it. So what did Joe Rogan really say? He said they never went after Ray Epps. He's seen on camera instigating this stuff. Makes you wonder. And now we know what he said was a fact, is that there were guys there who are intelligence assets encouraging people, or I should say some kind of government agent or law enforcement. This is not controversial. This is confirmed.
Yeah.
They're admitted to doing it, to going, let's go, hey, go, and pushing people towards the Capitol.
Oh, is that admitted that agents pushed people towards the Capitol? And said,
there's body camera footage of people associated with law enforcement. I'd have to pull this stuff up. I'm going to be very careful here because I want to make sure we're getting it right. Yeah. But they're saying things like go. When questioned, I think it was the FBI said, we cannot answer, were there people involved at all?
Yeah, they pled the fifth basically, and I did see that clip, and Joe Rogan cited Epps, and he cited the FBI director pleading the fifth. But yeah, it was like early on. There was like very early on after Jan 6, there was a New York Times article, and it was like federal agent describes his experience on Jan 6. So it's long been acknowledged that there were federal agents in Jan 6. I think the strongest argument for false flag, though, is the pipe bomb, which apparently they have footage of like the guy who put it there, and they apparently know where he lives too. They've like I forget where I heard this, but they know his address, and yet they have not prosecuted him or explained whether it was a pipe bomb or not. You know what I mean? It doesn't look like they've investigated what that was.
Well, that's scandalous because that guy's like,
Thomas Massey has been posting about this, and that is kind of piece of, in my opinion, that's like the most compelling evidence.
Because the bombs that were placed around the Capitol heighten the entire situation to such a level that you might be able to justify bringing in federal troops or detaining people without charge or trial.
Jim Gaffigan makes a good question though. He's like, why didn't Trump call anybody in? Yeah. Why didn't Trump just say, get law enforcement down there right now? I think it's fair to say that Trump was bumbling quite a bit. I don't think Trump had any intention on anyone going into the Capitol. I think he genuinely had no idea what was going on. And I don't mean that he didn't know there were people storming the Capitol on one side and going in the other. I'm saying he did not comprehend the situation.
Well, you've read, though, that apparently after his speech, he told Secret Service to drive him to the Capitol. And they said, no, we're taking you.
Pretty sure that was a fake story.
Oh, was that a fake story?
Because they claimed that Trump attacked the driver.
Well, yeah, it was exaggerated that he attacked the driver. But what I gathered from that was like, if Trump did actually want to go to the Capitol and talk to these guys, could have been a totally different outcome. If Trump was there and he was like, hey guys, we want to do this peacefully, as he was
Trump
saying
was still
in his
speaking
speech.
when they were breaching the Capitol grounds.
Oh, okay.
Right.
But either way, if he had gotten there, he could, he could have ended it. So it's weird that Secret Service would say, no, we're not letting you go. And it's weird that Trump couldn't override that with just a direct order also. So,
Yeah, I got personal criticisms. I mean, I wasn't the president. President had a hell of a job during COVID, man. But the way he didn't send in federal troops during the riots of 2020.
President did a hell of a job during COVID.
Well, no.
You think Operation Warp Speed was good?
No, I don't think he did a good job. I mean, the president has a hell of a job during something
okay.
like that is what I mean. And so I can't talk too much shit about him and like be like, well, if I was there, I would have this and that. Cause like backseat driving, hindsight's 2020, but he didn't send in the troops day one of the 2020 insurrections, whatever the hell, these street riots that broke out after the George Floyd death. I would told Tim the next day, like, where are the fucking National Guard? What are we waiting for? This is going to spread out of control. This is like a fire burning right now. And it did. 2 days later, the city's starting to get burned down. And I'm like, where's the president of the United States, the armed chief of our military commander? Like,